Fatima College. Welcome to our website. Today I am going to give a lecture on DNA, the blueprint of life. So what is DNA and what is the role performed by DNA in the living system? So DNA is present in all living cells starting from bacteria to human beings. So this is the structure of a cell. So you can see the cell, you can see the nucleus which is present inside the cell. So inside the nucleus you can see the chromosomes, presence of chromosomes. The chromosomes are the structure which is going to contain the DNA-like structure, which is going to contain the DNA. So the DNA is actually the storage of genetic material. Next slide. So what is genetic material? So before going to the genetic material, we can put forth two questions. In what form the information is stored and how it is transmitted from one generation to another. So if we have a clear understanding of the structure and function of the DNA, these two questions can be solved. So next, before going to the structure of the DNA, we can have a short view of the history of the DNA. So coming to the history of DNA, it was first isolated by Miescher in the year 1869. So Miescher, he isolated DNA from pus cells, and then so many studies were carried out. After a long period of time, the molecular structure was finally elucidated by James Watson and Francis Crick in the year 1953. Next, coming to the structure of DNA, it is made up of nucleotides. So what are these nucleotides? As carbohydrates are made of sugars and proteins are made of amino acids, these DNA are made of nucleotides. So it is a polymer of nucleotides. So coming to the nucleotide, the first thing is the phosphate molecule. So this is a phosphate molecule. And then we have the presence of sugar. So the sugar which is present in DNA is deoxyribose sugar. So this is the structure of a deoxyribose sugar, and this is a 5-carbon sugar. So we have the first carbon here. So this is the structure of a ribose sugar. So this is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon and fifth carbon. So there are 5 carbons in this ribose sugar, and DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. So there is one oxygen molecule missing from this structure. So that is seen in the second place of the molecule. So when one oxygen is removed from the second position, it forms the deoxyribose sugar. So this is the structure of deoxyribose sugar. The nitrogenous bases are of two types, namely the purines and the pyrimidines. The purines are made of adenine and guanine, and the pyrimidines are thymine and cytosine. So the purines are adenine and guanine, and the pyrimidines are thymine and cytosine. So adenine and guanine, they have double ring in their structure, whereas the thymine and cytosine, they have a single ring in their structure. So these three molecules, they are together called as nucleotides. And a combination of these three make a nucleotide, and when the nucleotides, they are arranged in the form of a polymer, they make a DNA molecule. Next slide. So coming to the properties of DNA molecules. So these are the properties: specific base pairing, complementarity, antiparallel nature, and the degree of stability. So coming to the specific base pairing, so we already saw about these bases, nitrogenous bases, adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. So there is a specific base pairing between these two molecules. Adenine always pairs with thymine and cytosine always pairs with guanine. So they cannot be exchanged. A purine always pairs with a pyrimidine. So there cannot be exchange of these purines and pyrimidines. Always a purine, it base pairs with the pyrimidine. Adenine base pairs with thymine and cytosine base pairs with guanine. So this is the specific base pairing. Coming to the complementarity nature. So if this is going to be one strand of DNA, if one sequence of the DNA is known, the other sequence can be predicted. As I already told you, there is a specific base pairing. If one sequence is known, the other sequence can also be predicted. Adenine always pairs with thymine, thymine pairs with adenine, cytosine with guanine, guanine with cytosine, and so on. So now the other strand, the sequence of the other strand can also be identified. So that is complementarity. And the third one is antiparallel nature. So what is an antiparallel nature? So for example, we can see the arrangement of nucleotides. So this is one strand of DNA and this is the second strand of DNA. So we can see the base pairs in between these two strands. So if this is going to be the base pairs in between these two nucleotide strands, so we can see the arrangement. The one strand is arranged from the 5' to 3' direction and the other strand is arranged from 3' to 5' direction. So what are these 5' and 3'? So as I already told you, a sugar molecule, it is made up of 5 carbon. So this is the first carbon, second, third, here we have the fourth one and here we have the fifth one. And similarly at this side, starting from here, this is the first carbon, second, third, fourth and fifth. So now we can see the 5' end. So it is, the phosphate is attached here at the 5' end and hence this is a fifth carbon and hence this is the 5' end. And at this end we can see the 3' end exposed outside. So this strand is running from 5' to 3' direction. And the other strand, it does not run in the same direction as that of the first strand. It runs in the opposite direction. So now we can see the third carbon exposed here and this is the fifth carbon to which the phosphate molecule is attached. So now this is going to run in this direction, 5' to 3' direction. So this is the antiparallel nature of the DNA strands. So this one is running from 5' to 3' direction and the other strand runs from the 3' to 5' directions. And next one is the degree of stability. So the molecule, DNA molecule, in order to transmit and store the genetic information, it has to be stable. So it has to withstand high temperature, pressure, etc. So now the degree of stability is maintained by the hydrogen bonds in between the bases. So adenine and thymine, they have a double hydrogen bond and cytosine and guanine, they have a triple hydrogen bond. So this cytosine and guanine is still more harder to break than the adenine and thymine base pairing. Next slide. So after the structure was identified, the X-ray crystallographic structure was predicted by Watson and Crick. So this is the structure of the X-ray crystallographic structure of the DNA. So after analyzing this X-ray crystallographic structure, the DNA was found to be a double helix. Next slide. And coming to the function of this DNA. So what is the function of the DNA actually perform in the living system? So you can see the flow chart. DNA is transcribed to RNA and RNA is translated to protein. So what is this transcription and translation? So from the DNA, RNA is synthesized and from RNA, proteins are synthesized. So this we call as the central dogma of biology. So this process is same in all the organisms, starting from bacteria to the higher order animals. So what is so now we saw the structure of a DNA. Now we saw the structure of a DNA. So it is a double helical structure. So now this DNA is going to be transcribed to RNA, and now this RNA is going to be translated to protein. So DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid and RNA is ribonucleic acid. So there are no major changes in the structure between the DNA and RNA, but the RNA differs from DNA in three aspects. So first one is, it is a single-stranded molecule. Single-stranded molecule. So it contains only one strand. And the second one is, the sugar is ribose sugar. Sugar is ribose sugar. So in deoxyribonucleic acid, we have the oxygen absent from the second carbon. But in RNA, we have the presence of the oxygen molecule in the second carbon. Whereas deoxyribonucleic acid, it does not have this oxygen in the second carbon molecule. So these are the differences between DNA and RNA. And also there is another difference here. Thymine is replaced by uracil. Thymine is replaced by uracil in RNA. So we have here A, T, G and C. So these are the four bases of DNA. Whereas when RNA is considered, we have A, U, G and C. So here thymine is replaced by uracil. So these are the major differences between DNA and RNA. And apart from that, RNA has three more types. The first one is mRNA, rRNA and tRNA. mRNA is messenger RNA, rRNA is ribosomal RNA and tRNA is transfer RNA. So these three molecules, they help in the translation of RNA to protein. So now we will have a look at the protein molecules. So what is a protein molecule? Protein molecule is made of amino acids. So amino acids, they join together to form the protein molecules. So there are so many, more than 20 types of amino acids like phenylalanine, leucine, lysine, etc. Next slide. So here you can see the list of proteins present in nature: phenylalanine, leucine, lysine, isoleucine, valine. So these are the different types of protein molecules that are found in nature. So for each amino acid, we have a triplet codon. So what is this triplet codon? So these codons, they are present in the messenger RNA. So for example, if U and A is present, this will code for one amino acid, and these three will code for the other amino acid. Depending upon the nature of the codon, each amino acid is going to have. So these are the different types of proteins and they are triplet codons. So now from the DNA, RNA is going to be synthesized, and from RNA, it is going to be translated to a protein molecule. So this is the function of the DNA which is played by it. This is the function of the DNA played in the living system. So now coming to the functions of the protein, this protein will make up all the cellular components, of the cell, and cells will make up the tissues, and tissues will make up organs, and organs will form the organ system. So this is how the proteins are converted to organ system. Now you can have a look at this animation so that you can have a clear understanding of all these processes I explained. So now how DNA is converted to a protein molecule. So this is a structure of the cell. So inside the cell we have the different cellular components, among which nucleus is also a cell organelle. So inside the nucleus we have the presence of the genome of the organism. The genome of the organism is packed in the form of chromosomes. So the chromosomes are the one which contains the DNA molecules. So the DNA molecules, they are wrapped around histone proteins, and this is the gene. So gene is going to produce the protein molecule which is being required. So when a gene is switched on, there is an enzyme called as RNA polymerase which binds to the gene and it starts synthesizing the mRNA molecules. So these bases are taken up from the nucleotide pool which is present in the nucleus. So all the complementary strands are being added and the mRNA is being synthesized. So this is the structure of an mRNA. Once when the mRNA is synthesized, it is not functional. So it has to be edited and processed in order to become functional. So the editing process makes the mRNA to be a functional one. As soon as the mRNA is synthesized, it moves out of the pores which are present on the nucleus and it reaches the cytoplasm. So when it reaches the cytoplasm, we can come across the ribosomal RNA which binds to the mRNA, and also there are tRNA molecules found in the cytoplasm. So the tRNA molecule, it can carry an amino acid. So the corresponding bases will be present at the other side of the tRNA. So this transfer molecule, it transfers all the amino acids to the mRNA strand. So it adds one by one. The ribosomal RNA reads every 3 nucleotides. It reads the 3 bases which are present in the mRNA molecule, and it also adds the amino acid transfer molecule which is complementary to the bases which are present in the messenger RNA. So for more details, you can look into all the genetic books, cell and molecular biology books, and also the genetics by Gardner. You can have more details on these books, and thanks for watching.